1. Which principle of adult learning is best applied when designing a PTS training session that emphasizes learners' ability to connect new safety protocols with their prior field experiences? A. Behaviorist reinforcement. B. Constructivist scaffolding. C. Andragogical relevance. D. Cognitive overload. 2. When evaluating the effectiveness of a PTS curriculum, which method best measures whether participants can apply theoretical safety knowledge in real-world practice? A. Written multiple choice exam. B. Simulation-based assessment. C. Peer evaluation surveys. D. Attendance tracking. 3. During mentoring in a PTS training environment, what is the most effective way to ensure that the mentee develops confidence in decision-making under regulatory constraints? A. Provide step-by-step instructions and discourage independent action. B. Encourage reflective questioning during debriefings. C. Focus primarily on rote memorization of safety codes. D. Allow unsupervised practice without feedback. 4. Which evaluation strategy aligns best with adult learning principles for PTS trainees who require ongoing competency validation? A. End-of-course exams only. B. Continuous formative assessments. C. Annual policy updates distribution. D. Peer social evaluations. 5. A PTS instructor wants to redesign the curriculum to reflect current regulatory standards. Which principle should guide the selection of updated learning materials? A. Instructor preference. B. Learner-centered relevance. C. Cost minimization. D. Tradition in training history. 6. In the context of regulatory compliance, what is the key benefit of embedding case studies into PTS learning modules? A. Reducing course duration. B. Encouraging memorization of policies. C. Demonstrating practical application of standards. D. Allowing instructors to avoid assessments. 7. Which communication technique is most effective for clarifying complex safety procedures to adult learners in a PTS workshop? A. Using highly technical jargon to reinforce authority. B. Interactive dialogue with scenario-based examples. C. One-way lecture delivery with minimal interruptions. D. Printed regulations without discussion. 8. A mentor observes a trainee struggling with applying safety protocols in a PTS simulation. Which mentoring approach is most effective? A. Correct the mistake publicly to reinforce rules. E. Provide private constructive feedback and guided practice. C. Ignore the error to encourage independent learning. D. Assign more reading materials without discussion. 9. Which evaluation method ensures objectivity and compliance with adult learning principles in assessing PTS trainees' performance? A. Instructor's personal judgment. B. Standardized performance rubrics. C. Informal peer conversations. D. Attendance records. 10. When planning PTS training curriculum, how should the instructor address the principle of self-directed learning? A. Provide rigid schedules with no flexibility. B. Allow learners to select case studies aligned with their roles. C. Focus on instructor-dominated content delivery. D. Exclude learner input from course planning. 11. Which adult learning strategy is best suited for engaging experienced workers in mandatory PTS refresher training? A. Collaborative problem-solving discussions. B. Memorization drills of safety codes. C. Lengthy reading assignments. D. Passive lecture sessions. 12. When developing assessment tools for PTS, which method ensures alignment with regulatory compliance standards? A. Random questioning without guidelines. B. Aligning test items with regulatory objectives. C. Allowing learners to create their own assessments. D. Relying only on verbal questioning. 13. In mentoring new PTS trainees, which approach encourages long-term professional growth? A. Setting short-term goals without follow-up. E. Encouraging self-reflection and continuous improvement. C. Providing minimal feedback to promote independence. D. Prioritizing compliance over skill development. 14. Which evaluation method would provide the most actionable feedback for improving PTS curriculum design? A. Exit surveys about instructor personality. E. Data analysis of assessment performance trends. C. Observations of classroom attendance. D. Informal conversations with trainees. 15. What role does clear communication play in maintaining regulatory compliance in PTS instruction? A. It reduces the need for assessments. B. It ensures learners understand how to apply standards in practice. C. It minimizes training costs. D. It allows learners to bypass assessments. 16. Which mentoring technique best promotes the transfer of PTS knowledge from classroom to workplace application? A. Modeling correct behavior and providing guided practice. B. Delivering theoretical lectures without demonstration. C. Allowing unsupervised trial and error. D. Focusing only on written regulations. 17. Which principle of adult learning is applied when PTS instructors encourage learners to share workplace experiences to enrich class discussions? A. Repetition and drill. B. Experiential learning. C. Behaviorist conditioning. D. Cognitive dissonance. 18. What is the primary purpose of aligning PTS training curriculum with evaluation methods? A. To simplify instructor grading. B. To ensure assessments measure intended outcomes. C. To reduce instructional time. D. To increase course enrollment numbers. 19. Which of the following best supports compliance while respecting adult learning principles in PTS training delivery? A. Using case scenarios tied directly to regulatory standards. B. Reducing assessments to increase satisfaction. C. Excluding feedback sessions for efficiency. D. Delivering generic lectures without customization. 20. How should PTS instructors handle feedback when a trainee fails to meet compliance standards during an assessment? A. Provide constructive, specific guidance for improvement. B. Dismiss the trainee from future sessions. C. Ignore the results and allow continuation. D. Deliver generalized feedback with no details. 21. Which curriculum design principle ensures that PTS training remains relevant over time? A. Periodic review and alignment with updated regulations. B. Keeping content unchanged for consistency. C. Designing based solely on instructor expertise. D. Focusing only on basic learner preferences. 22. In the context of mentoring within PTS programs, what best demonstrates effective leadership? A. Controlling all trainee decisions. E. Encouraging autonomy while providing support. C. Withholding feedback to test resilience. D. Prioritizing speed over quality learning. 23. What is the most reliable way to evaluate communication effectiveness in a PTS training session? A. Observing nonverbal cues and learner engagement. B. Counting the number of slides delivered. C. Recording instructor talking time. D. Measuring session duration. 24. Which technique ensures that adult learners in PTS training are able to retain and apply complex regulatory information? A. Chunking information into practical modules. B. Delivering long lectures without breaks. C. Assigning lengthy reading lists. D. Providing information only once. 25. Which of the following assessment methods best combines evaluation with adult learning engagement? A. Open-ended scenario-based performance tasks. B. True-false quizzes only. C. Oral recitation of rules. D. Instructor opinion surveys. 26. Which principle is emphasized when mentors encourage trainees to reflect on their decision-making during PTS simulations? A. Reflective practice. E. Memorization. C. Behaviorist reinforcement. D. Instructor-centered learning. 27. Which curriculum development strategy ensures that PTS training addresses diverse learner needs? A. Differentiated instruction and varied learning activities. B. One-size-fits-all lecture delivery. C. Exclusive reliance on written manuals. D. Ignoring feedback from previous trainees. 28. What is the key regulatory compliance benefit of documenting evaluation outcomes in PTS programs? A. Demonstrates accountability and adherence to standards. B. Reduces the need for instructors. C. Minimizes learner workload. D. Avoids formal assessments. 29. How should PTS instructors adapt communication strategies when teaching learners with varying experience levels? A. Adjust explanations and examples based on learner background. B. Deliver identical content without modification. C. Provide only technical manuals regardless of context. D. Focus exclusively on advanced learners. 30. Which mentoring approach best promotes resilience and long-term retention of PTS safety standards? A. Encouraging problem-solving with supportive feedback. Avoiding mistakes by giving direct answers always. C. Prioritizing speed of learning over comprehension. D. Restricting practice opportunities.